Hey there, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also, the channel that was created by a retail investor for retail investors and home to the best MJ community. Today is Monday. It's September 16th. Hope you had a great weekend. In this video, I had a ton of people asking me, what is your exit plan for Tilray brand? So I'm going to be discussing that. We're going to take a look at my sell targets on TLRY. I also have it in a long-term account. So we'll go over my strategy there, and I have a RESP as well for my daughter with Tilray in it. So we're going to discuss all of that and more in today's video. But as always, this is not financial advice, and you should never buy or sell or do anything just because I say or I read it. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. And if you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So like I said, a lot of people were requesting this video, and if there's other MJ stocks that you would like me to go over a similar plan, let me know, drop a comment, and I'll do my best to go over that stock as well, assuming I hold it. But it would be probably something similar to my game plan here with Tilray Brands. Obviously, the price levels would be a little bit different, but we'll go over this. But like I said, just drop a comment if there's another company that you'd like me to go over. And you can check out my MJ Portfolio 2024 update. I just came out with a recent update, and you can see all of my biggest holdings. And Tilray is my biggest holding in my MJ Portfolio. Like I said, check that out. And then if you want me to go over some of those holdings and do a similar video for that, I can definitely do that in the future. So we'll go over the short-term account first. So short-term account it's in an RRSP, so a registered retirement savings plan. And essentially, you can move in and out in an RSP, right? I'm not a tax advisor either, so don't take this as financial or tax advice. But if you're in an RSP, you can basically move the investment around as much as you want because you're only taxed when you take the money out of the account, right? So the idea with an RSP is that you're going to have it until when you retire and you're no longer bringing in a working income, then you're taxed, but it's at whatever bracket. So if you're not making, income from a job or etc., you want to take it out of your retirement account then, because then you're going to get taxed, but it would be at a lower rate. That's kind of the idea, right? So I have it in my RRSP. That's where I'm going to be. That's my short-term account where I'm going to be taking profit at these levels. And we'll go over my game plan. I have an example as well. I don't have 10,000 shares. I'm not going to disclose how many shares that I have. It could be more or less. I'm not going to tell you. I'll just go over in terms of this video for percentages. Try not to tell people how much crypto or shares of stock that I own, because you're just kind of putting a target on your back. So we'll do an example based on 10,000 shares. And then I also have MJ, and well, in this video, we're talking about Tilray. I have Tilray in my short-term and in a longer-term account, but I've got a bunch of other MJ stocks in my short-term account and in my long-term account. So I might hold the same MJ stock twice, one in my short-term, my RRSP, and then another one in a longer-term, the TFSA, which is a tax-free savings account. So the idea here is I'm going to be holding this one indefinitely, because you're not in a TFSA, you're not supposed to trade frequently. I think the rule of thumb is like one trade a month essentially, but you don't want to be getting in and out of trades in a TFSA. It's frowned upon. So that, in my opinion, should just be left to long-term holds. And it's a tax-free savings account, so the gains are tax-free when you take it out. And you can only contribute so much, per year and lifetime. So when you max out your TFSA, you get penalized if you go over it. So I want to take full advantage of that account and the tax-free aspect. So that's the one I'm going to be holding long-term, and I'm going to be holding that Tilray and my other MJA positions in that longer-term account until the USA legalizes at the federal level. Similar to what happened in Canada when we had Canada legalize in 2018 and we had that huge run up. I'm going to be holding until that hype, essentially, right? And I don't care what the price is. If it's $200, I'm not selling that longer term account until the US legalizes, right? So that's, some people want to hold it for 5 or 10 years in their longer term account. It's okay to, put a X amount of years, a time frame on it, let's say. But my goal with that long-term account is to hold it until the US legalizes. And then, like I said, in that crazy run up, similar to what happened in Canada, is when I'll be looking to sell that. And it could be 5 years, could be 3 years, could be 1 year. I doubt it. I think it's going to be, probably somewhere around the 2 to 5 year, maybe 3 to 5 year mark before we see federal legalization in the U.S. But we're starting to see a lot more chatter. There's a lot of bills going through Congress, and just a lot of chatter and bills, right? So we got CAOA, you got the MORE Act, you got the States Act. There's tons of bills and attention on this, and Germany's already following in the footsteps of Canada. You're going to see the rest of the UK, and the US is never first, but they're never last, right? So that's my plan. I do think that they will legalize it eventually. And like I said, it's probably going to be at least a few years. And then, like I said, I have it in an RESP, a registered education savings plan. So the government will basically contribute via grants to the account, X amount of dollars per year. And basically, if you contribute, they'll contribute a small portion. So I do have Tilray in my daughter's RESP, and I'll be holding that until she goes to school. So that's the idea there. So those are my 3 different accounts that I have it in. And now we'll go over the short-term account price targets and take profit levels. So you can see here my average is 275 USD, and I've been slowly accumulating Tilray really since the Hexo days, right? And then Tilray bought Hexo, and then their Hexo shares got converted into Tilray shares. And I didn't have a whole lot of money into the MJ space. I do kind of now. I would say that I'm quite heavy, not quite whale status, but I have more money in crypto than I do MJ dollar wise. But that's going to change here very soon as we start to see crypto finish its bull market and potentially enter a bear market. I think we're going to see a crazy blow off top euphoric rally, and then I'm going to rotate those profits into more MJ. So, initially, I remember buying Hexo when it was at like $5, $7, and eventually that got converted into Tilray, and I was down, in some cases, 90 to 90% on some of my MJ names and investments in my accounts. And as of today, I just looked at it. I'm down about, I think it's somewhere around, on average of around 30 to 40% in my MJ accounts. So I've been slowly dollar cost averaging. I had a couple of real estate properties that I sold in 2020 and 2021, and then we went into a brutal bear market for 4 years on MJ. So I've just been, taking those profits and slowly buying more MJ. But like I said, I've been focusing more on crypto than I am MJ at the moment, because MJ's been in a 4-year bear market and crypto's been in a 4-year bull market. So that's starting to change. And like I said, I'm slowly adding, every week, every couple of weeks, I'm slowly adding to my Tilray position. And like I said, after I sold those properties, one in late 2021, I came into a lot of profit. So I was able to dollar cost average and lower my cost basis on Tilray. And when Tilray has been hovering around, $1.50, $1.80, just closed today, it was up almost 4% at one point. But, when you're down to $1.50 USD, it's very easy to get your average down, right? And we've had so much time to just accumulate at these ridiculously low prices that, it really makes a difference whenever your cost basis, it used to be $10 and then it was $7 and then it was $5. And, obviously I was able to put in basically double what I initially invested, and that lowered my cost basis dramatically. So as of right now, I've been pretty much adding for the last 3 years, but I'm pretty much done adding now. The only way I'll add Tilray is if we drop below $1.50 USD, the all-time low, then I might add it again. That's pretty much an offer I can't refuse. But as of right now, my average is $2.75, and we'll go through an example here. But I'll take out my initial investment when we get to $10. Initially, I was thinking $5, but my average is $2.75, so I want to get at least over double that. So I decided to, and I put quite a bit of time into this and was thinking about it over the weekend. So my first take profit level is going to be $10, and some of these, the line didn't line up perfectly to $40, so just ignore the cents. But it's just rounded to that major number. So 10, it says 10.11, but it's just $10, and the same with 15.08, it's just $15. So at $10, I'll take out my initial investment. At $15, I'll take out 5% of the remaining shares I have in that short-term account, and then $20, take profit level 3. I'll take another 10%, take profit 4. I'll take another 10%, take profit, so TP5, I'll take another 15%, and TP6, 20%, TP7, 40%. And those numbers or at $90, $60, $40, $30, $20, $15, and $10. So we'll go through an example. So again, I'm not saying I have 10,000 shares. I could have more, I could have less. But based on the example of, let's say, 10,000 shares. So that's your average at 275, okay? And that means you would have invested into Tilray $27,500. And I know some people who say they have like $100,000 invested into Tilray. Some are, $150,000, and it doesn't matter. If you only got $1,000 to invest, you got to start somewhere. So it doesn't matter. Just do what's right for you. Don't risk more than you're willing to lose. And everybody starts somewhere. So don't compare yourself to other people, right? That's one thing I see people do all the time. So you want to just, use an easy example would be 10,000 shares times 275. That means you have your initial investment of $27,500. So your first take profit would be $10, and you would take out your initial investment. So if price is at $10 and you take out 2,750 shares, that's $27,500. So that would leave you with 7,250 shares. So there's your initial investment. And then the rest is you're just going to ride it, right? So 7,250, so 5%, 10%, another 10%, 15%, 20%, 40%. So what you would do is at take profit 2 at $15, you would sell 5%, so 362 shares for $5,430. And then at TP3, which is another 10% at $20, you would take out 725 shares equals 14,500. Same thing with TP4 at $30, 725 shares equals 21,750. TP5, which is 15% at $40, you would take 1,087 shares, 43,480. TP6, 20% at $60, that's 1,450 shares for a total of 87,000. And then the last one, TP7, would be 40% at $90. That would be 2,900 shares and 261,000 for a total of 433,160. So you can see here, this is just an example, and maybe you just started investing in Tilray and your average is $1.80 or $2 or $1.50 even, who knows? But maybe your average is $10 or maybe it's $20, and then it's obviously going to change very drastically depending on the circumstance and people's scenarios, right? So this is just my scenario, and again, I'll be taking my first initial investment out at $10, second take profit at $15, next at $20, $30, $40, $60, and $90. But again, I'm still going to have it in my longer term account. So let's just say, this happens in the next year or two, but it still hasn't legalized in the US yet at the federal level. Well, I'll still have Tilray in my longer term account as well. And that's a smaller amount of money because I'm holding it for a long period of time. It's in my TFSA. You can only contribute so much, whereas your RSP can contribute a lot more. And like I said, you're going to be taking profit out at different levels. And in your TFSA, you want to hold it for as long as possible to maximize those gains, and then you get to take it out tax-free. So that's the idea there. So again, you can just kind of use this same logic. You can try to change it around. Maybe you take your initial investment out at $15 or $20, and it's all really going to depend on what your average is, right? So this is my game plan. Again, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but hopefully it was helpful. And again, if there's any other, if you want to watch my MJ portfolio video, 2024 update, I just posted it about a week or so ago. If you want to check that out, and then if there's any other names in there, any other MJ stocks that you want me to do a similar video on, I can look at arranging that. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, I would appreciate a like. Going down it there, it's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. Let me know your take profit and exit plan in the comment section below. All right, have a good one. We'll see you on the next video.